So it's that time of year again where we are getting ready for our summer or spring garden. And there are a couple ways that you can start a garden. And I did for years is just find your local nursery and get what's called starts to plant in your ground, or in boxes or however you want to do it. That is one way to do it. Your seeds are already sprouted. You have these nice little baby plants and you plant them, and then shortly after that you start bearing fruit. And that is a great way to get started. But one of the things that I don't like about doing it that way is it's not cost effective. So there is a big cost involved in that. They're a little bit more expensive than, say, if you're going to buy seeds. So I started doing seeds in place of going and buying the actual starts already done. I was super nervous. I was afraid nothing would germinate and I was not going to have anything, and I ended up having to go and buy the plants already. But luckily, I watched a couple YouTube videos and I was able to start my own starts, and it was so much cheaper to do it that way. So now when the time comes, I go ahead and jump on Baker Seed Company's website, order all my seeds online, get them right to my door, and I start them at home a couple weeks, about, depending on the seeds, 4 to 6 weeks before I'm ready to plant, and it has been so much better. Let me take you along and show you how I do it. So I am getting ready to start my seeds, and I went ahead and filled all of my trays. Now, these can hold like 70 something plants. I probably won't use all of them, but I did want to get them all filled in case I do. And then I will show you, once I plant my seeds into them, how I mark them so I know what they are. But first I'm going to show you the soil that I use. To the local nursery just down the road from me, and they have a greenhouse, and this is what I bought from them. It's a professional growers mix. I use these to fill all of my pots, big pots that I am replanting with my annuals and things. So then I had a bunch left over, so I just went ahead and I will start my seeds in them. I always am big on use what you have. This is just a photo box I got off of Amazon. And then I have just them in each one to organize my packets of seeds. I'm gonna mark them with these easy. I'll put one of these stickers over a toothpick to make like a little flag, write it, and then the toothpick will stick in those so I remember what plant is what. Here we go. Okay, so here is my seed station. So after I plant the seeds, I usually do about 2 seeds per, 2 to 3, sometimes if they're really small, a few more in each of the bins. And that just helps to, if one doesn't germinate, then hopefully the other one will. And then I spray them down really well with water, and I just use a squirt bottle, and I'll make sure that they are always moist. A couple things. I don't use the cover on my seeds. When I learned how to do this, or when the first video I watched on this, the guy had advised not to, just because of mold. And he said, you know, you may not get mold, but sometimes things can mold and you don't even see it, or there's different kinds of molds that you can't see or smell. And so he recommended not, but you'd have to water more often. And so that's what I've always done and kind of stuck with it. But I am spraying them down multiple times a day though, with not having the covers on them, but it just makes me feel better. So as I want to do more seeds, obviously this is just a 3-shelf little shelf. I will need to do something a little bit bigger and taller to add more space to it, but this is enough for my family and getting my seeds started. Another thing to remember is that you don't need to have the lights. There's a lot of people that don't use lights. They put them close to a window. You're not going to see your seeds germinate quick enough without the lights. And I've also had people say that they put these trays in like a removable wagon or like a portable wagon, and they just bring them inside at nighttime, and they pull them out during the day, which that would work fabulous as well if you live in a warmer climate where you are going to have nice warm 70-degree days even in the wintertime. For us, where we're at here in Missouri, that's just not an option for us. The lights and the shelves and the trays and all of that is an investment up front, but it definitely pays off in the end, like these. Okay, so now all of your seeds have germinated, and you have seeds like I do, where you have multiple that germinated. Now you need to separate these out because they're individual plants. So each seed is its own plant. And so if you have them all germinating in one cup, they'll get really leggy and not get good solid roots. So I'm going to show you how I separate them out. It's a little bit tricky because I have them in these cups that are all attached. But what I'm going to do here, move some of my stuff here, is I've gotten these bigger pots, plastic cups from Amazon. And I filled them with soil and kind of packed it in there tight and already watered it so the soil is moist. Now I'm going to pull one of these out, and I just lay it right on the table. So you'll want to do it on a surface where you don't care how messy it gets. And then I just kind of really gently pull it apart with my fingers. What I'm trying to do is just get each individual plant, tomato plant here, these are tomatoes, separated from each other, because a lot of them have intertwined themselves. And you can take this soil and just stick it right on into one of your cups so you don't waste anything. And I'm just going to kind of work with it. You want to be really gentle with this because you don't want to damage the plant. You just want to get it separated and its roots separated so that you can then have an individual. Okay, so I got them just by working with my hands gently untangled. So I have individual plants here, and I have a couple more. All of them did really well, and all of my seeds germinated, which that makes me have a lot of tomato plants now. Okay, so I have all my seeds separated here. Now tomato plants are gonna regrow roots also from their stems. So you wanna get them really far down into the cup. Now what I'm gonna do is I have my full cup that's a little bit wet, and I'm gonna stick my finger down as far as I can go to create a hole. And then I'm gonna take one of my plants and I'm gonna stick it down as far as I can. As far to the bottom, because it is gonna grow more roots to it. And now I'm just gonna pack it in really tightly all the way around it. Like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and give it just a little bit more water. And I'm gonna stick this cup back under the light. So next week, I think we're gonna get almost into the 80s. And so I will probably start bringing my cups out a little bit at a time for short hours in the day to start getting them used to the sun outside and the heat outside. But for now, these are gonna go back under the light that you can see behind me. And they're gonna get, right now they're a little droopy because I've messed with them, but they are gonna get nice and strong, and then they will be an individual plant. The last thing that I do before I stick them back under the light, I almost forgot, is I make sure to stick, a tag in them. If you don't stick a tag in them, you will forget what it is, I promise. I mean, you can probably tell what some of them are, but I just don't want to chance it and risk what I'm not knowing. So I will stick a little tag in it, and I will put these under the light. Now, this little setup, this cup with the little tags or the flags, I got on Amazon, and I'll link that to my storefront, which I'll put in the description here. But you can really use anything. When I start my seeds, these are kind of too big to put in each of these individual spots. So I don't use these for that. I use the toothpick with the little label maker to make the flag, just because they're small and really petite and they fit better in that. Once I move them to the big cup, these are really nice and handy, and these can be used over and over again. So I'll save these and then use them next year because they're good quality and they're not paper and they're waterproof. So that's how you separate your seed plants and get them into their own individual cups so that they can thrive. I hope this whole seed starting process was helpful for you, and go out there and just get anything in the ground. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be this big extravagant garden, but learning to garden even a little bit and growing a little bit of your own food is so rewarding and so delicious. So I hope this was helpful, and see you next time. Take care.